Well, first of all, welcome. We're going to make expeditious use of your time. We are not going to go through and introduce everybody and take a half an hour. That's what this first 30 minutes was for. Why we're here is because you failed. And you've become a liability. That's a short answer. You failed because your alumni association failed you. That's also a short answer. But that ends tonight. Tonight, we're going to teach you about leadership. We're going to start this journey of what we used to be and used to do several years ago, and you'll see how the chapter should be run. The Xi Deuteron Alumni Association is made up of exceptional men. And if you didn't know, you should know that literally hundreds of our alumni are business owners, scientists, doctors, lawyers, philanthropists, and really world leaders. If you didn't see the news this past weekend, Stephen Clark, Phi Sig from UT, was named a major general, retired major general, 2-star general, and he's a Phi Sig. Xi Deut, from here. And I'll start with this. The reason why we chose this venue for a meeting is because this is a building built by a Phi Sig. If you want to see the impact that a Phi Sig has at Knoxville and just even on campus, look right here behind me. That big development next to Regal Cinema, that's a Phi Sig. So I'll give you a couple little things. If you didn't make your way around the room and talk to the guys that are here tonight, you should have, because here's what you would have learned. Someone in this room tonight is a top of table, round table, top 1% in their industry award winner. Someone in this room tonight was awarded the National Hero Medallion by Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America in New York City. Someone in this room tonight is a former Grand President, and you probably all have met Harold already. But he's only one of 3. Not to diminish that in any way, but there's 3. There's also Jay Stanley and Drew Bagwell, which are not here tonight. Someone in this room tonight is one of the largest real estate developers in Knoxville. You look for Jimmy Nafee, Speaker of the House, just retired. There's an attorney here tonight that is the attorney for the Tennessee Titans. Maybe a contact you might want to know. There's also an attorney here tonight that argued before the state Supreme Court. You should get to know the guys in the room, and this is a small sample of what you can get. So it's your responsibility to meet these guys. You don't have to look very far to see their impact also on campus. You may not know this, but the most recent Alumni Association president at UT was a Phi Sig, Dan Brown. And Phi Sigs have donated literally millions of dollars to the UT campus, and you can look at the engineering building, the animal hospital, the stadium renovations, our house. All of those are donations by Phi Sig. But what you didn't know was, and I mean several Phi Sigs, not just a few Phi Sigs, but several Phi Sigs, stood up and vouched for you when you're removed from campus. They don't know you, but they did that because these guys are a character and they want you guys to succeed. And so they on just blind faith said, no, we're going to step in and we're going to take care of business. And that's why you're here. It's your responsibility basically to listen. And it's also your responsibility when you get a notice to come to a meeting to meet your alumni, you should wear a tie. We do that for a reason. We do that for mutual respect. So, there's another little one I missed here at the bottom. There's also an alumni here that's a graduate of the decade. You should get to know him. So, were we perfect men? Of course not. When we were young, some of us drank too much. Yeah, we got in fights. We all made mistakes, and we all made decisions that were not in our best interest, not our best decisions ever. I may be the only person in the room that got thrown out of Disney World. And that was only a couple of years ago. As in like 3 years ago. So we're not judging. My point is we're not judging you guys, all right? We get what the social fraternity is about. We understand it, but that's the maturing process. But we live in a different environment now. So the simple truth is it's our job to be your mentors, and that's where we failed you. Because being a mentor takes a lot of time. And that's what all of us gets crunched with pretty quickly is our time. And that's what happened to me. My wife got sick in 2014, and I've not been available and it's not because of me, I'm not the one that gets this going, but everybody here has to donate time to this. And where we failed you, quite honestly, is we haven't had the people organized to take the time to help you guys mature. But that ends tonight. Tonight is something new. So, strap on your crash helmet. We're going to get down to business. Number one, you need to know this, that you're not in charge. The house belongs to the Alumni Association, and we are revoking your right to use it. Our house costs $2.5 million, and it's in poor condition. It's in very poor condition because it's not been taken care of. The house will be closed in the fall to do renovations, basically. If you want to play in the house, then it's your responsibility to earn that back, and we're going to give you that opportunity. Do you know what the number one cause of insurance claims is at Phi Sig? And I think Nick, where'd Nick go? I think this is still true. Is the number one cause of insurance claims still alcohol-related fall injuries? Not changed, not in years. Alcohol-related injuries from falling down. Done that myself. But the house is not a safe haven for drinking, and you can't have events at the house that involve drinking, not at UT's campus. It's a pathetic reality, but I get it. Number two, hazing is over, and I'll tell you why. Hazing is a product of immaturity. We all understand the concept of making an associate earn it. I get that. But hazing instills the wrong values, and it creates a legacy of behavior that is so counterintuitive to what we stand for. It creates entitlement, laziness, and apathy. And I see that. I see that as a product of hazing. You can see it in a chapter, and it's evident. It shouldn't be that way. Because once somebody thinks they've earned it, they don't want to contribute anymore. I'm dang near 50 years old. I barely earned it. I can assure you guys haven't earned it yet. So hear me. If you want to be part of the Alumni Association, you've got to earn this. And I can promise you, the alumni here have earned it as well. We don't need to haze you for you to respect us. You will judge us based on our actions and decide if you believe in our principles or not. It's that simple. You either have buy-in or you don't. If you want to participate, you have to believe. If you don't, you don't. With that said, the associate education program will be taken very seriously and differently. The Alumni Association is taking charge of your associate education program until you can prove that you're the men that can earn it back. It's real simple. We're going to get the right kind of guys. And if there's retaliation, if you do what the Lambda Chi's did or Sigma Chi's did and you go put concrete in your basement and do stupid stuff like that, we've got the resources, we've got the people, and we've got the depth that we can wipe the chapter out for 4 or 5 years, let the dust settle, and come back at it. It's not what we want to do because we think that we've got a chapter that we can do something with. But it's not impossible. We're not scared to do it. Done it before. And Nick, how many times you have this conversation a year? 3 or 4? More? How many survive it? Few? Half. Half make it through. Half make it through is a deciding factor because they don't have an alumni association that's good. So you guys don't have an excuse. If this doesn't work, it's because of you. Simple. Number 3, financial responsibility. You can't succeed without a solid financial plan. And tonight, you're going to get your first lesson of what that means and why it matters. And effective tonight, the chapter now has a paid business manager. And it's not me. I don't want that job. Have that job. Chadwick O'Shields is a licensed CPA and an auditor with KPMG. He's agreed to step up on a temporary basis and get you guys back in play again. With a financial plan, with knowing where you're headed. Because if you don't know where you're headed, you can't get there. And you can't do all the stuff. And I don't mean ratcheting down your financials where you're not having fun. I mean plan to have fun. Plan to do things that are pretty spectacular. Because what you've got, whether you realize it or not, is the capacity to collect a massive amount of income and have a whole lot of fun with it. We had a mixer in this room. I remember standing over here and we had a Heather Hayes experience right back there in the corner. We had a mixer in here. And we got a letter from Club LeConte to come back. But I also had 4 people working security. And the first person that whipped a cigarette out or a cigar out that wanted to smoke it got put in the cab. Everybody understood the program at that point. So we can do some pretty spectacular things. So going forward, Chadwick has agreed to manage your financial affairs until you guys can form a finance committee. And after you have that committee in place, he'll help you with oversight so the days of flying blind are over. Most importantly, understand these terms are not negotiable. If you're successful, what your future will look like is you'll have a better relationship with your alumni, certainly. You'll have a much better relationship with your grand chapter, a much better relationship with UT, and with your community for that matter. And you need these relationships. Number 2 is better communication. Who knows the last time we had a chapter-produced alumni newsletter? I've not seen one in years. Should be. Who is communicating the good news about the chapter? We're not saying you're all bad. There's some awesome things happening, but nobody knows it because you're not communicating it. Are we going to have a Founders Day event in March 15th, right? We usually have it. Hadn't heard a word about it in a while. We have the best house on campus with the best men on campus, and we're not even leveraging that talent to make it known. We're wasting an opportunity. So, you'll be a better leader in this process. We want you to learn the politics, the art of building consensus, and doing the right thing even when it's not popular. That's a definition of leadership. And please know this, you do not have to be an officer to be a leader. Key important thing. Ronald Reagan said many times, was quoted in saying, that you can get a whole lot done if you don't care who gets credit for it. And not taking on a task of being a leader and failing, you're losing opportunity to learn something. We've all got out, if you talk to these guys, me included, had massive failures, massive successes, and massive failures. If you're expecting to go through this without making mistakes, we know better. We're not expecting that, but we're here to help you. So, why does it matter? Well, because we have a problem with hazing. No doubt we have a problem with alcohol abuse, miscommunication, confusion, missed opportunities to do great things, and worse yet, those missed opportunities to connect with alumni. And it all boils down to this one thing that happened 6 months ago. Had a guy call me, graduated last December, called me about February, March. Hey, I know you're an alumni. Would you write me a letter? Nope, don't know you. Can't help you. It's unfortunate, but I'm a realist. So, the real question is, what impact are you having? That's how we measure you. What impact are you having on the campus? What impact are you having on are you maturing? The one thing I would have to convey to you above everything else is that we as alumni have zero responsibility to make your parents happy. And that was a challenge. When you allow your parents to step in and be your business manager and not take care of your business, you put a burden on us. So that's important to understand where we're headed in this process. So, and last, why be here? And it's to create those experiences of brotherhood. And so you'll know Phi Sigma is pretty special. If I haven't communicated that already, and I could have these guys, Bob Witt did this last time, and Charlie Morgan, and everybody here, Ron Pace, get up here and tell you this for hours and hours, but we're not here to preach to you over and over again. That's ineffective. So we're going to do something different. But you should know this before you get started. Xi Deuteron is very special for a lot of reasons. We're different than most chapters at UT because we own our house. But with that responsibility comes a greater responsibility. We can do things other people can't do. And without getting too technical in it, because of your alumni donating a lot of money, we can do things with our house, and it's ours. Renovations and things like that. We're not subject to all UT's rules. And we can outpace the other fraternities. So, it's a new day, guys. That's the bottom line. It's a new day. So how do we get started? Well, here's where we go from here, so you know the plan. Tonight is a preview. Tonight is a preview of what's possible. And you know what the capabilities are. That's why we're not meeting in the house. We're meeting here because this is a unique place. We're going to start with an officer training program, which is set up behind you back there. And then next, you're going to have an officer and a mentor retreat. Find somebody, if you're an officer, find somebody who can help you because you're going to need it. You need to plan what you're going to do. You've got brotherhood events. You've got GPA requirements, philanthropy gifts. You've got social things to think about, not this semester, but later. You've got public relations to manage, and you've got goals and standards you got to keep up with. And if you do all those things successfully, maybe, just maybe, Nick can petition the university to get our charter back, essentially. and give us a license to operate, because you don't have that right now. That's where you're at. And I'm not blaming you for that. That's just where we're at. Then you convert those goals to a written plan. You update your policy manual, and you make a list of items you want to fix, things you can do for the next chapter, make it better for somebody else and pay it forward. And hopefully we'll be in a better foot. But again, if you retaliate and you do things that are counterintuitive to us trying to help you, it's game over day one. There's a zero tolerance policy. Don't want to be there. And we're telling you we don't want to be there, but we're not scared to be there. So the ball's in your court, and that's what I want you to know. The ball's in your court. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a preview of an officer training game. And what I'll do is dispense the microphone. I'm going to stand at the end of the table back there. If you're a chapter officer, the organization of the table is written on the table itself on the tablet, or on the handouts. There's a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, inductor. You're all the chapter officers. You're all on one side of the table. Your social chairman, Russ chairman, philanthropy chairman, your chairman on the other side of the table. And you're going to see how a chapter ought to operate. So let's dispense and get started.